football at its absolute best.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. McGrath for the win.
He got it.
If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Rid-a-did-to-do and welcome into More Important Issues. Today is Monday, April 6th. We're coming at you a day late. Yesterday was Easter, so we took the day. And if you watched that baseball game like we did, you probably needed a day. So here we are, getting after it. We're going to talk some basketball. Transfer portal is in full swing. We had some news today. Good news? I don't know. Bad news? Maybe. We'll talk about it. We'll break it down. We also have a special guest to kind of talk us off the ledge that we're on with Tennessee baseball. Just not a good weekend overall, but we're going to talk about that. We have VFL Connor Pavolony joining us. So looking forward to that just here in a few minutes. First, let's get into basketball. Before we do that, guys, go check out our good friends at HovieDryGoods.com. Hovie Dry Goods, they're the best hat company in the business. I mean, I don't know what you're doing. Look at this. Beautiful. You probably can't see it because it's camouflage, but that camouflage hat right there is by our good friends at Hovie Dry Goods. Go check them out. Use promo code MORE, 15% off that purchase. All right, let's get into it. We have 3 guys enter the portal today from the Tennessee basketball program. One not shocking. I think the other 2, like you were kind of hoping maybe they would be on this team, but I think it was going to be hard to I think you wanted to keep one of them if the price was right. And the other one, you just probably like, hey, like we like another guy better. We're not willing to pay what you're asking for. And so like, that's the thing. Like you see these players like Bishop Boswell and JP Estrella, and you're just like, oh my God, like what's going on? But we don't know like what's going on behind the scenes of how much was JP Estrella and Bishop Boswell asking for? How much do you think they're worth? Because in my opinion, if anything that starts with $1 million is coming out of either one of their mouths, I'm like, no, sir. Haven't earned it. I think it was one thing with Bishop Boswell. It was between him and Amari Evans is what it felt like. And maybe that's not correct, but when you add Tyler Lundblade, who is a shooter, going to be a guard, going to be a wing, you have one more wing in that starting rotation. Who's it going to be? And I mean, yeah, Bishop Boswell had some big plays and some big games this season, but you needed offense, and he just didn't give you enough at that 2-guard position. I mean, if you're looking at Tennessee's weakness throughout the entire season, it was a 2-guard. And Bishop Boswell started there all year long. They just didn't really have enough shooting, enough scoring for that position to really get going. And I mean, they didn't really have anybody behind him either to kind of push him other than Amari Evans can play that wing position. But Amari Evans came in as a defensive player. I mean, a Rick Barnes special. We love the defense over here with Rick Barnes. So, I mean, that's what Amari Evans committed to Tennessee to do, and I think he exceeded expectations in his freshman season. I think he's a guy that with another year can really add to his game. Shooting, I think, is something he's going to has to be better at. Like, I mean, that's just reality. He's just got to be better at scoring the basketball. I think he does a good job of being aggressive when he needs to, and getting to the rim. He kind of has a bigger body that you kind of like to see as one of those wings. Boswell, I think he was a great defender, but kind of lacked that offensive ability. I think that's a big reason. Like you just couldn't hang with teams that were scoring at will. And I mean, that's what you saw against that Michigan team. You just didn't have anybody else. When Jacoby and Nate went cold, Tennessee was going to lose that basketball game. Just reality. So I like Amari Evans, 6'5", 220. Only averaged 4.1 points per game, but I like his true freshman. I think he can guard a ton of positions. Like if he had to go in and guard a post, I feel comfortable with him doing that because he is so athletic. So I think it was probably between that. Like what are both these players asking for? I don't think whatever was the price, you couldn't have two of those same players because one of them's not going to start. So are you willing to pay that amount of money for a bench player? Probably not. So it stinks, but that was probably I don't think that was super shocking to see Bishop Boswell enter the portal. Again, like love what he did for Tennessee, and it stinks that that's just reality. Like you're not going to keep everybody every single year. And then money plays a factor, agents play a factor. I mean, and it's just one team like, hey, we'll pay this amount of money for you. This agent tells this agent that's what that player thinks he's worth, and Tennessee has their number in mind. They go in this meeting. Hey, what are you thinking? I'm thinking this. Well, we're thinking this, and so there's a divide already. So again, not super shocking to see Bishop Boswell enter the portal. I think though the one that kind of hurts is JP Estrella. That one hurts a little. Again, like a post player that can score, he averaged 10 points per game this year. He's dealt with injuries. I mean, when you look at it, like you look at his game, you're like, okay, like that's somebody Tennessee should pay for. But again, like what's a desperate team that absolutely needs a scoring big man if they're saying like, hey, we'll pay you $2 million? Hey, that 27-year-old that could win a national championship tonight for Michigan, he's making $2 million. JP Estrella getting that kind of money? I don't think so. And I think it's just more than Tennessee was willing to pay. Like, he's not great defensively. And then, like, yeah, he can score. He has that jump hook and he has some nice touch around the rim. Pretty decent free throw shooter, but again, dealt with injuries, inconsistent. I mean, those last two games, I think he combined for 13 points. Like, Tennessee desperately needed a third scoring guy. Bishop Boswell and JP Estrella had every opportunity to be that guy, and they just weren't. And JP, like maybe in some games he was, but it wasn't consistent. So I think this is another one of those. Went to the meeting. Hey, like this is what my agent thinks I'm worth. Hey, we kind of disagree. And I think Tennessee, from what I've heard, Tennessee's going to be aggressive in the portal. Like they're willing to spend money, but they also aren't going to overpay for somebody who's not worth it. So that stinks because JP Estrella, like, I mean, he was the W guy after games. He was the Waggles athlete. Like, it does stink to have a guy like that everybody loves in the program. He had that meme that we used it tonight before the show, that kind of bite in your lip kind of meme that he did on the bench. And it sucks because I really like that meme, but I feel like I can't use it much anymore because JP Estrella is no longer going to be here. So, and that is the fourth. Clarence Masamba is another guy. He is, I mean, just one of those guys that you kind of took a flyer on and he didn't play. So it's one of those things. I feel like Tennessee does this every year. They get a guy that overseas comes in and you're thinking, oh, he's pretty athletic. Like I want to see what he can do. And I mean, just not great at basketball. Like it doesn't translate to the SEC or college basketball in general. And you see this every year. They go into the portal and gone, and then we recycle another. It feels like we're just getting a practice player from overseas every single year to come in and maybe be athletic and, hey, thanks for your time. Obviously, like, you're not gonna ever start here, so he goes somewhere else and whatever. My thing is, like, I just don't want to see, and this is different. Cam Carr left in the middle of the season, but it does sting a little bit when guys like Toby Awaka, Jonas Adu didn't sting, and Cam Carr, like, go somewhere and kind of ball out. So I don't want to see that. I want to see him ball out. I wish him luck. Just don't want to see it. Monty said $1.5 million. If that's what he was asking for, that's crazy. There ain't no way 1.5. No, what did Nate get? Nate got 2. I mean, what are we doing here? You got to average more 10 a game than get 1.5, in my opinion. I don't know. That's just me. What do you guys think? Do you think we should have kept JP Estrella? Do you think we should have paid $1.5 million? I think the part of it right now, you're like, yeah, that's probably not what he's worth, but you got to go get somebody. You have to. You have to go get somebody that can score. I would love for him to keep Jalen Carey right now because it looks like Cade Phillips is not going to be here too. So that's the 4th guy entering the portal. But I think you need to try to get a big man that can score. And we kind of talked about this on the last show. It's like, yeah, if they're not willing to pay that, that's fine. He goes into the portal, but what are you paying for somebody to replace him? That's always like something that I think about. I'm like, are you paying 1.5 for somebody who's just as productive? And why did we do that? Why didn't we just pay him? So I'm interested to see kind of who they're able to get, what they're able to get out of the portal, because I mean, it's a complete roster overall. Not as big as Kim Caldwell's. My goodness. I've always heard the term starting from scratch, but my God, I mean, that's it. Scratch. I don't even know scratch. You're just creating something out of nothing because there is nobody on that roster right now. That's insane. I can't believe. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm just this huge Lady Vols fan. I do enjoy when they win. I enjoy like keeping up with them and stuff like that. I'm not a diehard, I don't think. So it does hurt. Like my grandmother loved the Lady Vols. Absolutely loved them. Loved Pat. She watched every game. And I was talking to my sister. I was like, dude, our mama would be furious about what's going on right now. Obviously, she would be furious about this whole transfer portal thing. Would just blow her mind. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't comprehend it. Yeah, just crazy what the Lady Vols got going on here. So, I mean, that's kind of the portal talk so far. We'll see who they get. We'll see some names come about, and excited for it. But also, like, hey, can we keep the losing players at a minimum? Like, I feel like we're in a good spot right now where we've lost some guys. We can replace them with talent. Can we just keep the rest of it intact? I think you want to keep your nucleus, keep your young guys like Dwayne Brown, Evans. I'd like to see us hang on to Troy Henderson too. So excited about the portal season for Tennessee basketball. We'll see what the Lady Vols do because that's fun. But we got a special guest for you. Our good friend, VFL, Connor Pavolony.
What's up, Landon?
Brother.
How we doing?
We're rolling. We are rolling. Yeah.
Aren't we all?
All right. So, I mean, let's just start with this. I'm a Tennessee fan. I'm upset, obviously. Talk me off the ledge. Can you do that? Are you there too? Are you at the edge too?
No, man. I think, throughout the year, I actually get that question a lot from, various people all the time.
Sure.
I don't think that it was ever anybody besides Josh, and I will continue to hold that thought no matter really what happens. And there are a lot of reasons behind that, but the main one is like Tennessee wouldn't be where they are today without him. No matter what anybody really says. At the end of the day, Josh played just as much of a part as building this program as anybody, and obviously becoming a head coach, he's had to learn a lot. And you kind of, if you take a step back, you really see how much he's really grown in the way that he's managing games differently now, the way he's kind of listening to the guys. And um, regardless of the result this weekend, I think the guys are starting to figure out who they are. Um, and obviously there's a lot of negativity if you just open up Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. And I don't really agree with it. Yeah, like the record isn't great. The not closing out games isn't great. Getting walked off 3 times isn't great. But like, you guys aren't telling them, not you, Landon, but like people on Twitter aren't telling him anything that he doesn't already know.
Sure.
It's not like he's sitting there like okay with all of this. I'm sure it definitely keeps him up at night. Like, he wants his team to win more than anybody. The people in the locker room want him to win more than anybody. And regardless of how they look right now or the record right now, like, I still think he is the guy. And I will continue to say that. And, we have a group chat with all of our former players, or some of our former players. And I texted them, you can talk about the 23 team being 5-10 and going to Omaha and SEC play. Obviously it's a different team, but it's relevant. And at the end of the day, I think this team is starting to learn a little bit, and I would hate to see them in a regional if I was another team at that point in the year, when you get these guys on the road, when they do figure it out and they play with a little edge to them, and now they know who they are. Like, you're starting to see bits and pieces of it right now. And dude, we're literally 12 games into SEC play. Like, there's 18 SEC games left. And so at the end of the day, I look at it as this team's just growing. Like, it's a first year head coach, and he's been around the program. The guys trust him. The guys love him. And at the end of the day, I look at it, always from a June perspective, how I've always looked at it, even when I was playing. Like, I would really hate to see this team in a regional when it does click for them, right? Like, when the guys do start getting hot, when the guys do start really playing well and playing together, and I think the guys do love each other, and so it's just going to be a growing year. Like, the guys are going to grow, and at the end of the day, it's just about making it to the postseason. And so once they get there, I think it really is anybody's game, but especially with this team, when I think they very easily could be 10-2 in SEC play right now. And it's baseball, and that's kind of how it goes. And that's nobody's fault, in my opinion. It's, tough luck, tough stretch of games, getting walked off 3 times. Like, it's not fun. But at the end of the day, I think the team is starting to show signs of growing and coming together and figuring out who they are and playing for each other. And so at the end of the day, like, I'm not worried. I think everybody else out there that's a Tennessee fan is worried, or, calling for Josh's job, and he doesn't really deserve that. It's hard to be a head coach in this league, man. It's really hard. Ask anybody. Ask Tony. And I don't buy the people saying that this team is different than in 2019 and Tony's first year managing. With all due respect, I don't think many people in the Tennessee baseball world knew what our 2019 team looked like. So, like, the people that are saying that they weren't there. Like, they weren't in the stands. They weren't. And Tony made mistakes his first year managing too. But right now, like, obviously the team's on a bigger stage, so you're just going to notice it more.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the end of the day, like, that is a comparable thing to say, because Tony's first year, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. And I wasn't there for his first one, but I was there for his second one. And it was, still the same thing. Like, these guys got to learn. And managing this league is different than anything else. And trying to win in this league is so hard. Like, the margin for error is a ground ball to second base.
Oh, yeah.
That decides a game. And so, no, like, I see your perspective and everybody else's perspective. Like, everybody's on the ledge and everybody just wants to stop going to the games. But, like, I don't think we're there yet. I really don't. They're 4-8. They fight every single weekend against good teams, and they got a good one this weekend coming up. So, like, you're just going to figure it out. But if you really look at the teams they played, like, Vandy was not a bad team. Georgia, I mean, obviously is looking like an absolute horse right now.
Mhm.
And they're about to play a really good Mississippi State team. Like LSU is arguably on paper the most talented team in the SEC. On paper. Obviously, they haven't played up to that standard so far, but like you can't sit here and tell me we're just playing cupcakes every weekend, and it's the SEC.
Yeah.
So like William Schmidt on Saturdays, a guy 96, 98, and it's not like we're just going out there. It's not like we're just losing midweeks on the weekend. These guys are good.
Yeah.
And so it's just going to take some growing, dude, at the end of the day. And if they make it into the postseason, like I said, I would hate to see this team in a regional when they do figure it out. Right.
Yeah. And I think it's totally different in, maybe 10 years ago if this happens. Obviously, like there's not the big stadium and the program isn't where it's at. But I'm talking about just a baseball perspective of you see how young this team is. And you're like, okay, like it's cool. Like, yeah, we're right there. Like we're competitive. I mean, I was talking to somebody today, like as bad as it's been over the last couple weeks, it could easily have been the other way. And Tennessee's probably a top 10 team right now. The talent is there, but it's now with the transfer portal and NIL, it's like, hey, we like all this young talent that we have, but if we're losing, like, are we able to keep it? I think that's what like is upsetting about a lot of this. You're like, you see Cam Appenzeller, and the dude is a freak. And you're just like, well, if we keep losing, are we going to be able to keep him at Tennessee? I mean, my argument to that was like, hey, as much as you're like dogging Josh Elander right now, one of the big reasons why Cam Appenzeller is on campus is because of Josh Elander and a lot of these players. He brought them here. He recruited them. He had the relationships along with, the rest of that staff. But I mean, Elander was everybody's guy. And I'm not going to sit here. It's easy for people to sit here now, like with the record we have, and be like, oh, I wish we would have got Kevin Schnall from Coastal Carolina. That's easy to say now. But what were you saying when Tony Vitello left? You were saying, hey, let's not burn it down. Let's go ahead and keep this thing rolling, and let's get Elander in there. I think everybody was on for that.
And they were, man. And that's why it's so disappointing to see everybody just turn, halfway through the year, because let's say you do hire, Kevin Schnall, right? Or you do get rid of Josh. I don't know what our 26 class looks like. Let's say there's 20 commits in 2026. I think there's a little bit less than that, but it's around there. If you get rid of Josh and the rest of the staff, that number goes into single digits within 24 hours, in my opinion. I don't know that for a fact. I would just assume, because Josh built all those relationships. He recruited all those guys. The reason we lost minimal recruits is because Josh is here. So at the end of the day, I think people are having a way different conversation right now if you have to rebuild the program over the next 3 years, which is not where we're at, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is not a rebuild. Like these like you said, the players are talented. Henry Ford is going to be a first round pick.
Yeah.
Like you have Blaine Brown, who obviously struggled late, but like is still one of the better players in the SEC. And you have the staff to do it. And that's why I'm never worried, because I know these guys on staff. I know Chuck, I know Ross, Ricky, Craig, Kirby in the bullpen, Ethan Payne, like all of these guys, right? Like it's a staff that knows. They sit there and they're not like showing up every day and they're like, yeah, like we're in a good spot. Like they're not dumb, right? Like they hate losing as much as anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, they just keep going and they just keep grinding away at it. And that's all you can really do. That's literally all you can do. In 2019, our first SEC series, we started the year 17-2, 18-1, something like that, something pretty ridiculous. And then went to Auburn and got swept 0-3. And then I believe we lost the series after that. So now we're 1-5 in SEC play. But the reason that people don't see that is because not everybody was around in 2019, right? Like this staff has been through it. Chuck at Florida has been through it. Ross has been through it at Tennessee. Ricky's been through it as a player. Ethan Payne's been through it as a player. Kirby's been through it as a player. Craig has done it. Like these guys have been around the block. It's not like we're just sitting here and saying, hey, like let's just hope something good happens and just throw the rest of the year away. Like there's 18 SEC games left. If they do end up 5-10, so what, dude? Like look at the 23 team. And everybody's like, oh, it's a different team. But like, is it? I would argue it's literally the exact same case. And that's what the SEC is like every year, man. Ole Miss won the national championship being the last team in the tournament, the last team. And they were objectively not a good baseball team in the first half of SEC play that year. Objectively, statistically, everything. If you watch them play, they were not a good baseball team, and they won a national championship. So, like, am I sitting here telling you that Tennessee's going to win a natty? No. Like, I can't tell you that. Do I think they can? Yeah, absolutely. And everybody preseason was saying the same thing. But at some point, the game of baseball rewards those who continue to grind away at it. And that's what these guys are doing. They're just showing up. They just continue to show up. And obviously, I'm not in the locker room. I don't know what the vibes look like. But I've been around the team enough throughout the year to know that these guys are going to figure it out at some point. And I would really, really hate to be on the other side of it when they do. Yeah. And you can, two things can be true. You can hate where we're at, but also understand that there's a lot more coming, in my opinion. And everybody thinks they're an expert and saying, oh, well, we've played a big enough sample of games. 12 SEC games is not a large enough sample to sit here and be like, yes, let's fire Josh. Like I yelled at a Tennessee fan probably 3 weeks ago that was yelling at Josh. And I'm like, dog, like show up and support or just don't go. Like you wear the orange and it's okay to be critical, right? Like, you're a fan, you don't like to lose either, but Josh ain't sitting there and, he's like, oh my gosh, I love that I just got this head coach job, and he's content in having the head coach job. Like, that's not him. Like, he's trying to win a national championship. He's worked his entire life to be here, and now he's got it. It's not like he's sitting there and he's like, all right, I'm good. We can just lose the rest of the year as long as I'm the head coach. Like, he's not doing that. Josh showing up every day and he's like, how can we get better? And just continuing to grind, continue to work with the guys. But that's who Josh is. And I know that because I played for him, but I also know that because, like, I've talked to that guy since I got drafted. We talk all the time. And at the end of the day, like, I believe in that guy because I know who he is as a person and who he can be as a head coach. And everybody's sitting here thinking you're just going to hire. You think Kevin Schnall's just going to know how to coach in the SEC because you hire him from Coastal? I mean, you might find out here in like 4 months when South Carolina hires him. But, like, it's not just this easy transition going into the hardest conference in college baseball. And I don't know if South Carolina's going to hire him, for the record. I would assume they do. He's probably the number one candidate for it. But
well, if we know anything about South Carolina right now and coaching hires, they don't make the right ones. So.
Yeah, I think they're on a pretty cold streak of coaching hires. But
yeah,
all that to say, like, no matter what, unless they bring in a proven SEC winner, I would be hard pressed to think that somebody from another school is just going to come in and coach, be a really good coach right away. Mm-hmm. And look at Oak from Virginia, right? Like, he came from the ACC and now is having success in the SEC, but that's because he was in the ACC, and it's not that much different. It's not. But when you go from hiring the best mid-major coach, and I'm not saying Kevin's a bad coach because I don't think that, but, like, it's such a jump that people just don't. It's a different game, dude. On the weekends in the SEC is such a gauntlet, man. And people, until you go through it, you just never understand it. But having to face 3 dudes a weekend for 10 weeks straight and then go into the tournament, like, it's hard. It's hard, and it's hard to win. The margin of error is so tiny, and little things can decide games, and that's just how it is, right? And so we can't blame the pitchers or the hitters or anybody or Josh. It's just baseball, man. Like, and the team has a losing record, and they objectively haven't played great. But, like, that doesn't mean that the season is just washed because they haven't played well.
Yeah.
And so, like, just give him time, dude. And I would die on the hill for Josh every day of the week, no matter what happens the rest of the year. I don't care. Like, he's going to be my guy forever, and nobody will be able to convince me otherwise because I've been around the guy and I've just seen it, and I know the kind of guy he is, and he's just going to find a way to figure it out. And so, kind of a long-winded way to say that, relax for a second, but it's, I'm not freaking out. I don't think anybody should be hitting the panic button or sitting there like Josh is not the guy, because nobody knows yet. We're just not in a spot where someone's going to, like, be able to definitively say that.
And like the whole, like, oh, you guys wanted him, you got, like, it's such crap, because I mean, timing's everything with a coaching hire. Timing's everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know is Josh going to be successful at Tennessee? I don't know, but he has been successful at Tennessee as an assistant coach, and he's built this program to what it was. I think a big thing with this team right now is you had those freshmen last year that were really talented, had a small role, or Manny, like some of those had a bigger role. And then they get to their sophomore year and you're expecting this huge jump, like a Christian Moore and Blake Burke, who weren't perfect their sophomore year in 2023 either. Let's not forget that. They had 2 years to develop into what they were in the first rounders.
100%.
But these guys, like, it just hasn't been good. This entire sophomore class that you expected big things are in a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
I mean, Manny struggled, Jay struggled, Levi struggled, Krenzel, Teagan, like they've all had their ups and downs and a lot more downs than ups. And so like every fan was excited about this sophomore class and expected big things. I think the same with the coaching staff. They probably expected it. Probably some of those players expected it too because they're really good in the fall. Yeah. And it just hasn't come together in the season. And that's the frustrating part right now is like, if those guys like took a step, like this team is super dangerous, but they're not. And it's oh my God.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment right there. That, you expect these guys to have bigger roles and play well, and they objectively have not. That doesn't mean they're not good players. They just, I say this because I work, very closely with Levi. I talk to Levi all the time, but like Levi is objectively getting unlucky if you really break the numbers down. And that doesn't matter to the average fan because all they see is the box score. But like the game of baseball is going to come back around at some point, right? And it took Manny being benched for a game to come out and go crazy for a little bit, right? Blaine's going to figure it out playing in the SEC. Reese is a guy that's going to continue to lead these guys. Henry played in the ACC and he was really good. So he's objectively really good in the SEC, right?
Yeah.
Blake Grimmer, same thing. Like he comes in, he was injured for a little bit. Now he's starting to pick it up and you can kind of see it, right? Trent Graylinger is a great hitter and is starting to figure it out there too. Like, Garrett Wright, great surprise, honestly. Like you bring him in as a guy who can really catch, and now he's a guy who's hitting leadoff for you because he can really hit and he can really run. And so, yes. And that's, a part of why you say that is why I say that I would hate to see this team in a regional when they figure it out, because they are very talented, right? Like Levi Clark is one of the more talented players on that roster, just pure talent, right?
Yep.
Blaine Brown, a freak of an athlete, right? One of the most talented players on that roster. Krenzel, really good arm. Teagan Coons, objective, probable top 2 round pick, most likely a first round pick. But and when they do figure it out, man, it's literally just about getting into just get in the dance. Just get in the dance. And I think this team can dance with anybody, because when the postseason rolls around and those lights are bright, dude, they're bright. It doesn't matter where you're playing. It could be in Knoxville. It could be in wherever Southern Miss is, Hattiesburg. It doesn't matter. Those lights are always bright. And so anybody can crumble in that. But this team has been in so many situations now that the game is late, and whether they, succeed in them or not, they're going to be exposed to so many more situations that other teams might not have, that when those lights are bright, they can just sit there and be like, we've been here before. Now just take a deep breath and do it again.
Yeah.
Right. We've been here before. Now we're just going to take a deep breath and continue to be us. And so I think the sophomore class does figure it out. I really do. And so at the end of the day, that's why I don't sit here and I hit the panic button, because I know how talented they are. And I know guys like Henry and Reese can lead these guys because they've been there and they've both done that, and so, yes, I very much agree with you. It is frustrating to watch, but it's also one of those things where I don't think I look at the game the same way, because I also was a player for a while, and I just sit there and I'm like, okay, like they're just learning. It's another learning opportunity, and they just take them. Now, if we're sitting here on week 9 of SEC play, right, and we're having the same conversation, then you can panic, right?
Yeah.
But we are literally just, what are we, 4 weeks in?
Yeah.
3 weeks in? So so at the end of the day, I'm not sitting here like, oh my gosh, drop sitting the guy. Until I see like an objective number at week 9 in SEC play, like I won't panic with these guys. And Ensley said it really well when, Ensley and Burke and Simo and Kavaris were always going at those people on Twitter. Like all of those guys were on that team. They've been in there. They have literally done that before. And the reason I can't say like, oh, like I know what it's like, because I wasn't. we were objectively really good in 2021. In 2019 was kind of similar, but those guys have been there and they've done that. And if the people that have been in this situation before are sitting there and not panicking, then why in the world are we going to sit here as a fan base and say, all right, I'm done? You know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of also a reason why I don't panic, is because those guys just sit there and they're like, yeah, like we've done it. So
Yeah.
what? Ole Miss has done it. Like there are teams that have done it, and I don't buy the whole, oh well, they're not us, this is a bad situation. Like, and I don't think it helps about the other sports going on at Tennessee right now as well.
Yeah. I mean, you got one program who has 0 players on the roster right now.
I do not think that helps.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of frustration around athletics as a whole.
Mhm.
And so like I don't think this is really helping. But at the end of the day, like I'm not worried about them. I think they're going to be just fine, and I think they're going to figure it out. And whether that's this weekend, whether that's tomorrow, I don't know. I can't pinpoint it, but I wholeheartedly believe in Josh Elander, and I will say that I will literally die on that hill. And the rest of the staff, to be honest, Chuck, Ross, Ricky, Ethan, Kirby, Josh, Reynolds, like it's just one of those things where I just believe in those guys. And I think, Tony, playing for Tony, you kind of loyalty is the biggest part of, I don't know what I'm looking for. Like it was a huge part of Tony. And so it became a huge part of us,
Mhm.
and everything that we do. So like, if you're just going to bail when things get tough, like loyalty is nothing to you. Right.
Yeah.
Like, and like tough times, they're going to come around eventually. And it's not always sunshine and rainbows. Like it's going to be hard, but loyalty is everything. And I will die on that hill that Josh is the guy for it.
Yeah.
And
And
that
let's
staff
not
as a whole.
let's not forget, like, Tony wasn't perfect. And I know that there's
Yeah.
there's a lot of people on Twitter be like, "Good God, can we hold a runner? Good God, can he stop with this one pitcher for every out?" I
Yeah.
mean, there was some frustrations with Tony. It wasn't perfect, but he won a
I mean, what
natty
was
and
I was reading something at the end of last year. He lost what? The last 4 SEC series of the year last year?
uh
Did I read that correctly?
what was it 7, 6?
Something along those
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah.
That team went to a super regional.
Mhm. But
So
the expectation is there, and I think it's a combination of things. I think it's you got Tony leaving, obviously, like the freak out's already there before the season starts.
yeah,
You have a brand new coach. You have a brand new stadium that is, I mean, you were talking about 2019. I mean, did you guys ever think you'd get what they got right there, right now in that
dude,
kind of
no,
stadium?
no,
There
dude,
was
never.
one porch deck out there. And
Yeah.
you could basically, anytime you wanted to, can call up the ticket office and you could get tickets for one of those out there because no one was there.
Yeah.
And now it's a number of things. It's all that, and then just the way the losses have happened.
Yeah,
And
that's tough. That's
yeah,
tough,
dude. I mean, I'm a competitive person. Me in some of those instances, I'm like, dude. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
to say other than like, you were one strike away on Sunday, and they get a infield single, basically. I don't know how teams do it, but somehow, some way, Tennessee has to lead the nation in giving up infield singles because they just hit it where it's the unluckiest baseball team I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, that's the best. That's a great way to describe it right now.
Yeah. I mean, like Levi Clark hits that one. If he hits it a foot further, it's out, and Tennessee wins on a walk-off. And then this whole Levi Clark is struggling thing is like, oh, he's figuring it out now because he just hit a walk-off home run.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
I don't know. It's just a number of things.
It's frustrating, dude. It is. And I'm watching on Sunday, and literally just sat up in my chair, just watched, like, living and dying by this team. And even I live in Nashville, so I was literally at the Vandy games.
Oh,
But I was there for all 16 innings on Saturday. And
how
so
many? Did you try to count the whistles the entire time?
dude, it was ridiculous.
It's like, does
but
this guy not drink water? Like, what?
literally. Then they got multiple of them now, dude. They're everywhere. They're just spread out. You think you escape one and you don't. But it is what it is, and I think as competitive as I am too, like I love watching and just being like, dude, I wish I was out there. And but at the end of the day, like it is heartbreaking to watch the way that they lose those games. But again, like I say, dude, they've been in those situations before, and eventually that experience is going to pay off, right? It's one thing, yeah, it's fun to blow teams out, and it's not fun to get blown out. But at the end of the day, this team will be in so many high leverage situations. I actually said that against Kent State when I was there earlier in the year. That them seeing this early is huge, and being in a situation where the game is on the line late, so you can understand what it feels like. Because, like you said, this team is young. Young is the wrong word. They're inexperienced.
Yeah.
And so, like, they need to be in those situations. They need to feel what it feels like, right? To have actual pressure at bats. And, nobody likes scheduling easy weekends until SEC play because, I mean, look at who was it? South Carolina or Alabama over the past 7 years have done it. And then they get into SEC play and it's like, whoa, you just kind of get punched in the face because you haven't seen it. But Kent State's a regional team. I think they're going to play in a regional, and, playing those teams is good. But it's going to pay off at some point to have that experience and be in those situations. That now, is it going to still feel like pressure? Yeah, when you're in a regional or you're in the SEC tournament, or it's late. And when was it? 2019. We had to win. I think, one game on the road in 2019 to make a regional. Just win one.
Yeah,
and we lost the first 2 games. And we're sitting there, we're like, dude, we need one game. We need to win one game. And then we got to 14 wins. And we go to the tournament and we're like, all right, if we win one, we're guaranteed to be in. Right now we're on the bubble, right? To go to a regional in 2019. And lost the first game of the tournament. And
Auburn,
so now we're going,
right?
Auburn.
Yeah.
And now that team went to Omaha that year too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember the catcher blunder in the SEC tournament where the ball was literally right next to him and a guy scored from like first base. And that team went to Omaha. And so, it's just one of those things where I'm glad these guys are in these pressure situations now. And like, when do they figure it out? I don't know. I can't say it. And do they? Yeah, I think they do. But like, I don't have a crystal ball right here to tell you. But I think at the end of the day that the experience pays off, and I think it will. I truly do. And I will, like I said, I will die on that hill of, one, I still think Josh is the guy, and I think that whole staff is exactly who should be leading this team. And the players, eventually it's going to become their team. You heard Tony talk about it all the time in the media, that towards the end of the year it wasn't Tony's team, it was our team. And he really believed that. Like, he was very hands off at the end of the year, and it was, if we wanted to do something, we did it as a team. Evan Russell, great leader. Drew Gilbert, great leader. And Luke Lipschitz, same thing. So like at some point, I'm not in the locker room, so I don't know if this is going on or not. But like, they're just going to have to come to themselves and be like, hey guys, like, this is our team now. Like, we need to take some accountability for all of this. And I don't know if they're doing that now. Like I said, I can't tell you that. And I'm sure they are at some point. That doesn't mean they're going to win every game from now on if they do that. But you'll know when they truly do. You'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
And I personally love the fighting necklaces. I texted Mike Wilson about it this weekend, and I was like, this has got to be new. Like, I didn't see it.
I noticed that this weekend. Are they back? I thought fighting necklaces were gone.
I saw one of the guys wearing them, and I was like, dang, that's a little odd. And then I saw like 2 or 3 more guys wearing them, and I was like, okay, like, now the team's starting to do something a little different. Now they're like, okay, like, now we're trying to be ourselves, and we're not trying to be the 20. Yeah, we're not trying to be the 24 team or the 23 team or the 25 team, right? Like, they're trying to be themselves, and that's good, because they're starting to become their own team. And I think it's going to pay off for them.
Yeah, fighting, they were like, I thought we were dead in the water, but here we go, Tennessee baseball wearing our necklaces.
Pink fighting necklaces, dude. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, they're going to figure out who they are, and when they do, I think they're going to be a really good team.
Something people have asked me about, and I don't know the answer to this, but a big issue, yeah, the bullpen, but it's hitting. Like, hitting is something Tennessee's done since, 2019, they weren't bad at hitting. It wasn't as good as 2022 or 2024 in some of those teams, but hitting, like, after Blaine Brown's home run in the 3rd inning, you had 2 hits the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That just, you're not going to win many ball games when you do that.
No,
in this
yeah.
league. In
No.
in Lindsey Nelson Stadium at that.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is like, hey, is Elander still being the hitting coach? Because the hitting has taken a step back since he's taken over. I think it's dumb to really think about because he obviously is still involved with the hitting,
Mhm.
but it is like, what's your take on that?
I as a head coach, you have to kind of let your staff work, right? Tony said it all the time about Josh, actually, that he lets Josh be Josh and do his job, right?
Mhm.
Because Tony has a ton of responsibilities. Josh has a ton of responsibilities now. So I'm assuming, obviously, Josh is still involved. I don't know. I'm not. I know Josh is involved in some capacity. I don't know how involved, but that's Chuck, right? And so I'm not blaming Chuck at all. That's not what I'm doing. But Josh kind of has to take a step back as the head coach and say, okay, like my responsibilities are different, and he also has to trust his staff and say, okay, like if you want to do it this way, do it this way. But I know he's still involved. I'm not arguing that they haven't taken a step back or are better than the past. But agree with you. I don't think 2 hits over 9 innings is going to win many ball games.
Yeah.
And so I don't know exactly what it is really. Like I couldn't pinpoint it. And Josh just tried moving the lineup, any which way to try to figure something out. And I love that for him. You saw Tony do it with San Francisco.
Yeah.
He had 3 different lineups in 3 different days. So,
I mean, that's one thing he's trying. He's trying
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah.
Just like it's just not panned out yet.
Yeah.
And then that whole thing of the bullpen. Hey, you left this guy in too long, and then he didn't leave guys in. Like they walk somebody, you go with somebody else, they give up a home run. So it's just like, I mean, if I'm Josh, I'm like, what do you want from me? Like I'm trying everything in this, and it's just not working out.
I haven't seen many things that Josh has done that I think Tony would have done different, to be honest. And he talks about Arv on Friday night, and
Except doing pickoff moves.
Yeah. And he talks about Arv and giving him his leash because he's earned it, and he has earned it. Like he has been a guy that you can trust when he's out there, right? And so I think Tony would have done the same thing. People got on Tony for leaving Chase Burns in too long against Notre Dame. But like Chase earned that. He earned the right to get out of that. And Arv wanted it. I know Arv wanted it. I know Arv, right?
Yeah.
He would have wanted that. It's not like he's sitting out there feeling bad for himself. And it's easy to coach from the stands, right? But like, when you're in it in the heat of battle, I know he wanted Arv out there, and I know Arv wanted to be out there, and I loved it. I was like, okay, like leave him out there. Like if anybody's gonna get out of it, it's Brandon Arvidsson.
Yeah.
And so is it unfortunate? Yeah, but like at the end of the day, those are your guys, and if you pull them when you lose confidence in them, then they're gonna lose confidence in you. And so like Krenzel's going to go back out there, man. Like he's going to go back. He's still one of the better arms objectively in that pen. So he's going to go back out there. And when he figures it out, it's going to be really good. But Arv and saying, hey, like, if you're leaving him out too long, I didn't really agree with that. I thought Arv earned the leash to do that. And with what he did last year. And obviously Cameron Appenzeller's leash is miles long at this point. And so they're going to leave him out there. And he's proven that he can get out of those situations, for the record. Like you bring him in with bases loaded, no outs, and he goes punchy, fly out. Like then he can have as long of a leash as he wants. But it's a lot harder to manage a bullpen during a game when you have to think about the whole weekend. Like you can't run 6 guys out there on a Friday night when you don't need to.
Yeah.
Because these guys got to pitch all weekend. And Sunday's
it's
different.
also a lot harder to manage the bullpen when you have 4 hits in 12 innings. Like, I mean, like that's the hard part about this is like, yeah, like Tennessee probably had some pitching issues in some of those years, but hey, it didn't matter because we had 9 guys that can go yard in the lineup at any point.
Yeah, didn't matter, dude. Did not like, and that's one thing that is different, in my opinion. Like the guys have it, like they're talented enough to do it. But like even in 21, dude, like the regional with Drew Gilbert, we were in the dugout and I led that inning off and I was probably the worst hitter to hit that inning. And I was like, okay, if I could just get on base right here, I do think we win this game. And thankfully I ended up getting on base, which was great. But at any point in the game, much like, I hate bringing it up, but much like LSU did when they went back to back to back, that was what we did in 21, 22, 23. Like it was like that. You look at all of our hitters and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy could go deep right now.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. Seth Stevenson. You know, he can go deep,
Yeah.
and I think these hitters can do it. But like I said, it's going to take time to figure it out, and whether people want to sit there and say, "Oh, well, I'm not willing to wait that long." Okay, cool. Just don't go to the game. Like like just
Yeah,
watch. I guess.
if people start going to games, I think tickets eventually have to go down a little bit. So it might help out some fans that want to be there that can't because
Yeah,
of what the demand has gotten the ticket prices to.
yeah. I obviously don't look at them or see them, but I mean, yeah, like they want people there that are going to support the guys because if you go out there and you start Yankee Stadium it and start booing these guys, which I don't think is going to happen, but like what why would you pay your hard-earned money to go and boo a 19-year-old kid? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. And if you're booing Aaron Judge, it's different, man. It's way different because that guy's
Yeah.
making $500 million,
Mhm.
right? But like these kids are out there, and you people are acting like they're out there and like just giving these games away like they want to,
Sure.
But that's not the case. Like these kids want to win, and I've been around them enough this year to know, like all they want to do is win, all of them, and it's just about they're heartbroken too when stuff like that happens, but they're out there and they're going to continue to keep beating that door down, and eventually it's going to fall, right? Like they're going to go out there, they're going to keep competing, and I think at the end of the day, I actually talked to Tegan about this a couple weeks ago. Like, dude, you can't lose that edge to you that you're better than everybody else. Like that's all we've ever done. That's why everybody hated us. Like we thought we were better than you, and we thought we were going to beat you. To be
Yeah.
honest, whether and that's not from a sense of like not recognizing talent, right? Like I understood when I played against Mississippi State that those guys were very talented, and I respected them as players. Or we played against Florida, or we played against Vandy or Arkansas in 21. Like you remember that series.
Oh yeah.
Like I understand that these are good players, but if you go in there and you think this guy's better than you, you're going to lose.
Mhm.
And it's baseball, and that's how it goes. And that's the reason these guys like they don't mind talking their shit, man. They don't, and they shouldn't. Cam Appenzeller on Saturday night could have said whatever he wanted to LSU dugout,
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
he wanted. And at the end of the day, like that's the one thing I hope they don't lose is just like having this edge about them and just continuing to think that they're good players. Because eventually it's going to break open for them, and then you're really going to see some emotion out of these guys because they're competitors, right? But they also have some feel. Like nobody's going to go out there and scream when you're down 10.
Right. Yeah, no one's gonna pimp a homer when you're down 10.
Yeah, like dude, it's just one of those things that this team's gonna have it at some point. And like I said, they're one like light switch away from being a really, really good team.
Yeah.
Really good. And it's not like one thing. It's not like these guys are just gonna it's not like, you know, one guy goes and they all go, which it could be the case, right? Like, if Blaine goes or if Levi goes or if, any of those guys, it doesn't really matter. Um, but eventually that light switch is gonna flick, and they're gonna be a really, really good team. And you hope that happens sooner than later and they make it to the postseason with that edge to them. And I think that changes a lot for them. But at the end of the day, it's just about getting to the dance, man. And you figure it out and you just find a way to, like, situations like this, you just got to grind through them, and you just have to make the most of it to set yourself up for when you do figure it out and then you make it to the postseason.
Yeah.
Because I do think this team's going to play in a regional, and I still think they're a really good team.
There's some emotion that we saw this weekend that I feel like, from my perspective, has been a little lacking.
Mhm.
Like, because we're used to the showy, the bat flips, I
Mhm.
mean, Jordan Beck flipping off the center fielder, Georgia Tech running to second base. Like, you think of all that, and Tennessee was the villains of college baseball because no one wanted to play them
Mhm.
because you didn't want to get beat by them because then you were
Yeah.
going to hear about it.
You're going to hear about it.
Yeah. So I mean, like, Cameron Appenzeller, like, I love that. One thing that stuck out to me was on Friday night when Reese makes that play in right field, robs that home run. The most excited person in the stadium was Landon Mack.
Landon Mack.
He went nuts. And then, like, Cameron Appenzeller, like, he goes to the dugout. The first person that greets him when he comes to the dugout?
Landon Mack.
Tegan Coons.
And Tegan. Yeah, they're both the first people out there.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is some I'm starting to see some more emotion. Man, I was there for the Riot State on Sunday. Felt like a funeral.
Mhm.
I mean, we couldn't hit. They were hitting. They were getting these little bloop singles and everything. It was just frustrating.
Yeah.
And that's how it's felt for Tennessee. It's not like Tennessee's. I mean, obviously LSU in that last inning.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. That was one of the worst beatings I've ever seen in extra innings. But
yeah, I mean, Aaron Bide, just one of the best offensive performances I've ever seen. Like to hit a ball backside off the tee of the scoreboard is insanely impressive.
And
But I
he
mean,
freaking he had 4 home runs all of last year. Like
yeah.
Only Tennessee. I mean, if you're a Tennessee
Exactly.
fan, you always have that Tennessee cup on because you never know when it's coming.
Exactly. But it's just they get unlucky, and at the end of the day, man, like they know it too, and this is why you sit there and Josh in the post game is like, dude, you just keep chipping away. We're just gonna keep grinding away, right? We're just gonna keep finding ways to get better, and you just keep finding ways to get better, one day at a time. And I tell Parker Serrano, and I have a running joke anytime I ever talk to him about stacking bricks. Like, dude, you're just trying to stack bricks, and that's it. And eventually, like, you're gonna build a house. And so, like, these guys every day, they just go and they chip away and they chip away and they chip away because they're good players. They're talented players. They wouldn't wear the tee if they weren't.
Yeah.
And every other team, I think, knows that. Nobody's sitting in the SEC and they're like, all right, we're gonna sweep Tennessee this weekend. And Tennessee has no chance of beating us because Tennessee can beat anybody.
Mhm.
And so as long as these guys go into every game believing that, I think they're gonna be just fine. And I know Josh believes it. I know Ross believes it. I know Chuck believes it. Ricky, everybody, Josh Reynolds. And so at the end of the day, man, it's just about chipping away and doing it one day at a time.
Yeah.
And it's a long season, man. 56 regular season games is a lot. And a lot can happen in the next 6 weeks. A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. So, it's one of those things. You just got to keep chipping away. But I mean, 23 did it.
Right. With the youth, I mean, I feel like it's got to take a turn at some point.
Yeah.
Like they have to grow up. What is the big thing for you that you're just like, hey, this team like has to do better at this?
I mean, outside of, just offensively being better, and obviously they work on that. I sit here I don't even play anymore. So I as a player hated when people were just like, oh, just hit better. Like, yeah, man, just throw strikes. Yeah. Like, okay. But
those strikes, it could end up like that kid for LSU that hit 4 home runs.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, I don't see any like glaring things where I'm just sitting here and I'm like, God, this guy, this really sucks. Outside of just like, and the team knows it too. It's just like stacking hits and getting them when you need them and executing in situations that you need to execute in. And that's the difference, right? In 2019, we had a meeting, our first team meeting, and Tony, literally the first thing we talked about was their record in 2018 in 1-run games. And it was a losing record in 1-run games. And so at the end of the day, he was like, if we're going to be better at anything this year, we're going to be better in 1-run games. And I remember it like it was yesterday in 2019, we were better in 1-run games. But it's just about executing when they need it, really. And they've been better at it, right? Like I'm not saying that in a way like, oh my gosh, this has been brutal. Like you see them starting to punch back at guys. Like you see them start to get up off the mat a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it's going to continue to snowball into just absolutely railroading teams. And eventually it's, like I said, it's going to click and, one guy's going to get a hit. The next guy's going to get a hit. The next guy's going to get a hit and they're just going to figure it out. And they're going to be like, all right, we can do this. We can be this team. And once they really believe it, then they're going to be, right. Tony, one of Tony's favorite sayings was, if you believe it, it's true. And so if they believe it, I think it's only a matter of time until they turn into an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I would like to see more of is just like, I mean, this is kind of like goes toward everything, but that dog mentality of like, I'm better than you. You brought that up a second ago.
Yeah.
At the plate, like there has to be something in your head being like, I might ground into a double play, but I am not striking out in this instance.
Yeah,
like
I'm not runner on third, less than 2 outs. Like.
Yeah, like you have to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like more of that. I mean, yeah, situational hitting, but just refusing to like there's just one thing that you can't let happen, and it seems to always happen for Tennessee right now. Whether that's like, hey, like just don't give up a home run when the bases are loaded. It feels like Tennessee's giving up that home run.
Yeah.
Or it's like, hey, we got the bases loaded, 1 out. We just can't strike out here. Just can't strike out. Or second and third, no outs, just can't strike out.
Yeah.
And it feels like Tennessee
It's just buying into doing that, right?
Yeah.
It's just buying into, and not that, I'm not with the hitters at the plate, so I don't know what their mentality is, but it's just like literally buying into saying, all right, I'm not hitting this ball on the ground. I'm literally gonna hit this ball in the air if it's the last thing I do.
Yeah.
And I think, eventually you get better at it the more you do it. Obviously, like I say, an experience. But it's just one of those things. Like I agree with you. When it comes down to just like these guys at the plate and understanding you can do it if you really just put everything you have into doing that. Right. And I'm not saying you're going to do it every time. Baseball's extraordinarily hard. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in the world.
Sure.
And especially when, the guys from LSU are 97, 98, and it's their fourth guy to the pen. Right. Like it's just like Coke cans from a vending machine. But, nobody's out there and going to feel sorry for you. Nobody.
Oh, yeah.
And as a hitter, you're on an island, man. Like Josh can't come save you. So you're gonna have to walk into that box and you're gonna have to know that you're the guy. And I think for them it's just about believing in that and buying into that. And I say that, and I'm not a coach. I would never call Josh and be like, hey, go do this with these guys.
Yeah.
But it's a difference if you watch any team before now and now it's just like you go in there and you believe that you can do it and give everything you have into doing it, and you're going to do it or you're not. And if you don't, it's fine. But you gotta continue to have that attitude, because eventually, more times than not, you'll probably succeed.
Yeah, and there's probably a trust. Right, there's probably a trust factor in there. Like right now, it just doesn't feel like, hey, can you trust the guy in front of you who's going to get on base? Because I mean, right now, how do you have that trust?
Yeah.
But like these past teams, like you talked about, like that Wright State game, like you're going to get on base. You knew Jake Rucker before Drew Gilbert came up to bat was going to do his job and get on base somehow, some way. He was getting on base.
Yep.
And you work a count to make sure you get on base. Or like you put a ball in play. Like sometimes it doesn't go in your way, but good things happen when you put the ball in play. You saw that with, LSU. I think they have some talented dudes. That first baseman's terrible. Let's be straight up about that. He's terrible.
It was a tough weekend for the guy. It was a tough weekend for the guy.
So, but you put the ball in play and you made him field it and make a good play, and he didn't do it. And like that's part of baseball. Like, put it in play. Like Milam is a machine out there. He had an error.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh crap, here we go. Like we finally get something good our way. And it turned into a good thing. Obviously, they didn't hang on to that lead, but good things happen when you put the ball in play.
Yeah. And
easier said than done, but
and I mean, even Trent, saying in his media, like they got a little content. I don't know if that was the case. Like I don't think anybody in that dugout was like, all right, we got a 5-run lead, we can chill. And I don't think that was
trained after that. Is he like,
I don't know. I saw that on Twitter and I was like, oh, yikes.
Yeah. That's probably his last
he's young. He's a young
for a while.
But he's a young kid, and like, it is what it is. He's just being honest. And so, it is what it is. But the guys, it's just about piling on him. And one thing, I will never forget this, man. The 22 team was so good at it, at just like not ever stopping. Like they would win games by 25 runs. Like they would just continue to pound and continue to pound and continue to pound. Right. And you saw Tennessee do it on Sunday at Vandy. Like they just continue to put runs up, and obviously it didn't work out. But, at the end of the day, like that's all they can do. And so, I think it's a plethora of things that are going to come together at some point, but I think it's the right mixture of things that come together at the right time. Like, I think when they figure one thing out, they're going to figure the rest of them out. And when those guys get a hit and Cam Appenzeller walks out there and he's like, these guys are not getting on base right now. Like that fires the offense up, and they go back out there and they want to score runs for this guy. Yeah. Landon Mack has arguably the most energy in the SEC when he's on the mound. And it's just about feeding off of each other, on both sides of the ball. And I think early it was hard to feed off of it because a lot of it was negative. But now when you have so much positive stuff happening, eventually you're going to snowball, and it's going to be like, all right, now we just found our way to 10 runs, right? We just willed our way to it, and the guys just figure it out. But I think that happens at some point, and the guys just, as soon as they believe in each other, they start playing for each other. And I'm not saying they don't do that now, but when you really start seeing it, and they go out there and they're like, we're just going to beat you, dude. Like we're just going to figure it out. We're just going to find a way to beat you. And I've been on the bad side of plenty of those, right? But every time in 21, regardless of when we went to play Arkansas and we lost on Sunday and we saw them in the SEC tournament, we still thought we were going to beat them in the SEC tournament. We talked about it on the bus on the way there, It didn't matter. And you got to know, like, even when you lose, man, the attitude is the one thing that you can control. And so you go out there and it's still going to be you. It's still going to be you and me, man. And they're 60 feet in front of, in between us. And one of us is going to win, and that's the mentality we always had. It was like, one of us is going to win, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it's not you. And it's, I don't know if I can say this publicly, but like, I played the Yankees in AA, and they had shirts, BP shirts that said, have some fuck you on them. And I loved that, dude. I love that.
You can say whatever.
Like, it's, that's kind of, it epitomizes being a competitor, right? Like you can't care what other people think, what the fans think, what anybody thinks, but you go out there with the same attitude. And if they beat you, they beat you, dude. And you just move on and you go on to the next one and be like, all right, dude, you're gonna have to see me again. You're still gonna have to see me again at some point, whether it's today or in the SEC tournament or another day in the postseason. Like, you're gonna have to run into me again, and I would hate to be you to do it. And that's really all competing is. And you get 4 ABs a game. Most people get 4 ABs a game. Mm-hmm. So it's just taking that into the box 4 times. And so, I think the guys have it in them, and that's why I'm not worried, because I know it's going to come out at some point.
Yeah, I'm interested to see kind of what happens. There is those people on Twitter that are super negative. I think one thing to so players obviously see that. I would say for the players, don't take that personal, because guess what? If they were really out and done, they would have been done after Vandy. But they came back for LSU. They're going to come back against Mississippi State. Those people are going to be just fine. They are all in, and they care.
Yeah, and they care, right? It's just right now, obviously, they said the same thing about Tony. Tony got his fair share of the fan base.
Yeah.
And then everybody, you see he leaves and everybody's like, oh my God, I missed him. And so I get it, right? You're just a fan and you care. And but at the end of the day, it's about blocking all that out, and especially for Josh and for the guys. And it's just continuing to keep your head down and go to work every day. Tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow's a new game. Wednesday's a new day. Thursday, travel day. It's a new day, right? Like, Mississippi State it's not going to be an easy team to play, but I think Tennessee can beat them, and I think Tennessee can beat them 3 times. Am I saying they're going to do that? No, but I think they can, right?
Well, they've proven they can be beaten at home three straight times. So
yeah, exactly. And dude, I mean, that Georgia team is just an absolute wagon right now. Like, they're playing really good ball.
And you should have beat them.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, they're arguably one of the best teams in the best team in the SEC right now. And honestly, if UCLA wasn't a thing, they'd be number 1.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But you had those guys on the ropes and you almost took a series from them at home. So, take that for what it is. I think they've been so close so many times, and eventually it's going to start swinging their way. So they just keep pounding that rock, dude. Like, you just keep pounding that rock because it's coming. And that's what the SEC is about, man. It's 10 weeks. It's 10 weeks for a reason. Because, if it was 5 weeks, you wouldn't be able to tell who the best team is. Georgia, and I could say I hope they don't. I never wish bad on anybody, but they could go 5-10 in the second half. And they finish 15-5.
Yeah.
Or 15-15, sorry. 15-15. And it's possible, dude. It's baseball. Just like Tennessee can do it the exact opposite of what they're doing right now in the second half. And it's completely possible.
Yeah, you just got to find your way in.
Gotta get to the dance, man.
Find yourself in a regional and see what happens. I mean, no one was more mad about Tennessee getting to the postseason than Southern Miss. Because they were,
or Clemson, really.
Yeah, Clemson. I mean, that was the big one. I mean, they just they were so beat after that game, they didn't even make it to the regional final. It was Charlotte.
Yeah.
But I mean, they let that one game, and Tennessee's had a lot of those games where like you could just pack it up and be done with the season and let's get on the next season, see what happens.
Sure. But I mean, even you look at it like, and I hate comparing it because in 2020 we lost our series to Wright State. We were arguably one of the best teams in college baseball, and Wright State came to our home field and beat us twice.
Yeah.
In 2021, when we saw that we had to play Wright State in the first round of a regional, nobody in that room was cheering. Because you sit there and you're like, okay, like this team, regardless of how their record is, and I think their record was pretty good that year. I don't know how they were a 4 seed at all. I have no idea. But you look at this team and you're like, okay, like they can beat us, right? Like this is a good team we're about to play. And I feel like wherever Tennessee does go, whether, even if they host a regional, like whoever has to play Tennessee in the postseason is not going to look at the first half of the SEC and say, oh my gosh, like this is not a good team.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't sit here and panic or like I'm not on the ledge yet. But it's just one of those things that anybody can get hot. Ole Miss did it. Like, they were literally, they were so bad. Mike Bianco was going to be fired, and they won a natty. And now that guy is going to work coaching Ole Miss for the rest of his career.
Yeah, a lot of Ole Miss fans are kind of like, that was the nail in the coffin. Like we're never going to get rid of Bianco because he won a natty.
You won't, unless he goes, losing season. They've made it to the postseason. Mm-hmm. So like, he's not doing a bad job, but you win a natty, dude. That's what every team wants to do. And he gave his team a chance. Yeah. And that's what they got. So whether Tennessee's the 64th team in the tournament or the number 1 seed, it doesn't matter, dude. Like you just got to get to the dance. You just got to find your way on the dance floor, and it doesn't matter who you're dancing with. Like you just have to know you're better. You just have to know you're better.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens. I mean, that's all you can do at this point. I mean, if you're Tennessee, like you have missed some opportunities. Like you could have beat Georgia, you did beat Missouri, you could have beat Vandy, and you could have beat LSU, and you did not. So now you're going into this thing. You have 6 series left, 4 against top 16 teams. It's not going to be easy. But, I mean, you go beat 3 out of those top 16 teams, I mean, you're kind of right back in it.
Right back in it. Back in it. And like I said, man, I will ride with Josh until the wheels fall off. And he will always be the guy to me. And if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be him, to be honest. And so I'm excited to see how the last 6 roll out. And obviously you said like they're playing good teams, but it's baseball, man. Any day, anywhere. At any time, anybody can get beat, and it doesn't matter who it is. Literally in any inning, and eventually it's going to turn around for the guys, and I'm excited to see it when it does.
Yeah. Well, Connor, this has been awesome. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for taking the time. Let's I do want to kind of catch people up because it's been a while since you've been on. What are you up to? You said you're in Nashville. So what are you up to? How are things going?
Yeah, I retired from the Orioles last June, and now I took a job at CAA Sports, where I represent baseball players now, which is really cool. I actually represent a lot of former teammates, which is really cool. Getting to work with those guys, but I'm still very much involved in the game, and that's why I feel like I can speak on it, especially trying to sign high schoolers and college kids. I have to kind of know what's going on, but yeah, man. I mean, I'm living in Nashville now, which is super fun, super expensive. But it's definitely super fun to go back to Knox and see everybody. And even when they came up here, I'm still very, very try to be around the program as much as I can, and still talk to the guys and be a resource for the guys. But a lot of those guys don't need me these days. I'm too old for that. And so, yeah, man, I'm super blessed. I have so much more than I deserve, but I just want to serve kids and serve players. That's really all I want to do. I think I was given so much as a player that I can pour into others now, and I'm thankful that CAA actually gives me the opportunity to do that. So it's super fun, and Nashville's a fun city. I have great friends out here, and I'm in Knox a good bit, so just traveling everywhere. I was in Boston Saturday with Garrett Crochet, which was really cool for his Sam Adams launch. He got his face on the side of a beer can. thankfully there won't be any global controversy over it. And and so, that was really cool for him, and obviously got to play with that guy in college. So it's fun to watch him grow up, and still get to see guys like Trey Lipscomb, and still talk to Chad Dallas, Max Ferguson, all those guys, and so yeah, man, I'm better than ever, but still love watching the Vols. Still a Vol at heart,
Yeah.
and I will cheer for these guys no matter what the scoreboard says, what the record looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Connor, appreciate you, man. That was awesome. We'll see you soon in Lindsey Nelson.
Yes,
sure.
you will. You will see me very soon. I will send you a text. We'll grab a beer, and
Yeah.
I'm not playing anymore, so I can do that. So, but yeah, man, I really appreciate you having me on. It's always fun to be here, and obviously looking forward to the next 6 weeks.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, brother. We'll talk soon.
See you, dude. That was VFL Connor Pavolony. I mean, I just want to get him on to kind of hear his perspective, because he is around the team a lot, and I think it's interesting because, like, yeah, there's some fans out there that think Josh Elander, it's too big for him. He can't handle it. I mean, he brought those same players that won a national championship, that are playing in the big leagues right now, that people, I mean, Garrett Crochet was on a beer can. I mean, he helped bring him here. So I 100% agree Josh Elander was the right hire. Will it work out? I don't know. Again, like Dave Serrano, they thought it was a no doubt home run hire. Just didn't work out I think timing. Timing is everything with coaches, and it didn't work out. So, I mean, Tennessee's had plenty of coaches around their athletic programs who have not worked out. So, but I think Josh is a great dude. And I mean, I went to here's a quick story and I'll get out of here. Josh Elander, I went to the first pitch banquet. I do it every year with my dad. We have a donor that, big friends with my dad. So he loves like us to come, and we go, and every year, like, it is cool to like catch up with some of the former players that are there and stuff like that. Usually at the thing, John Wilkerson has got up there the last couple of times, introduced the players, where they're from, what position they play, blah, blah, blah. Well, this year is a little different. This year, they made every position group stand up. And Josh Elander went one by one. No card, no piece of paper, one by one. Hey, this guy does this well. He's a lefty that throws a bunch of junk from the left side, and he's got a great changeup, and we love him. He's from Wisconsin, and he's a big cheesehead. His dad's this. Like, he threw out so many facts about every single player. And I'm not doing it justice, but it was so impressive to me to see him. Like, he understands his program like nobody's business. It was him and Tony that kind of built this thing to what it is. And I'm with Connor. Like, I ride with him. I hope they are able to figure it out. It stinks right now. I understand it. It's upsetting. Like, it's tough to watch it. It's tough to get them. When you see a lead right now, you're like, there's no faith that they're going to keep it. So I hope they figure it out, because I think this program is awesome. I think it is a great I think it's a great program. Like, I think it's run well. I think there's good people. I mean, you see all these players that come on our show. No other program on campus is like that, and so open with their time. Like, they've been so good to us, and they're so good to the fans, the kids. Like, they sign autographs. It's a well-run program, and that started with Tony Vitello. But the guy right behind him was Josh Elander. So I definitely think he was the right guy for the job. And again, if it doesn't work out, oh well. But you tried it, and I'll give Danny White. A lot of y'all know me and Danny White, not on great terms. I don't love him. I don't love what he's done. There's one good thing that I think he's done. I think he made the right hire and getting Josh Elander and hopefully keeping this train rolling. It hasn't worked out to this point, but there isn't a ton of talent. It's not like they're getting blown out every game. Like they are in every game, and a few swings go their way. Like this is a top 10 team with the talent that they have, with the starting pitching that they have. Got to figure out the bullpen, but yeah, I think it's in a good place. And it's healthy. I mean, you look at the stadium, you look at the people in there, like they are filling that thing up. And I hope they continue to do so because this team right now needs it. Bottom line. But that's all I got. I just wanted to kind of bring him on here. Caleb wasn't able to make it tonight, so it's just me. Sorry if I rambled. I usually don't. Caleb's the rambler. But yeah, this was fun. I'm glad we did it. And thank y'all so much for tuning in and listening. We'll be back on Thursday with a new episode of the Bat Flip, also a new episode of More Important Issues. So thank you so much. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.
Home run, slam dunks, give him 6. Boys at MII, they got your big orange face. All year long is the place to be, to hear some Vols for life talking Tennessee. Can hate us if you want, but we sure ain't worried about you. We got more